Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your guy Jay. We're going over a little bit different episode in this specific one. Now, we just went through a really major hurricane. It was Hurricane Milton. It has gone through a lot of the western portion of South Florida, as well as northern parts of Florida, and it cut across the state moving east. We had a lot of tornadoes come through the area. We're actually going to take you through and show you some of the properties, and we're going to discuss things with some of the neighbors, as well as some other people that we see passing by and what it's done. So let's get right into it.
And then I just stayed against the door until the house stopped shaking.
Can't run because you don't know where it's coming from. And if you run, you might be going into the path of it.
What is the sound of the tornado? What is the sound of it?
It sounds like when you hear the freight train, like a freight train coming through, like right next to you, and then you just start hearing things moving and things hitting.
So we're showing you guys one of the properties that you can see behind me here. Now, this is some of the effects we're going through. Now, we're in Palm Beach Gardens, and here in Palm Beach Gardens, we have a very specific neighborhood. I'm not going to discuss the details on it just so that we can keep the neighbors private, so that there aren't too many people coming through here. But I do think it's really important to show, like, these are some of the effects that happen when there is a major hurricane that comes through. Now, something that did happen over the last couple days, there was a lot of preparation work that went into it, but we found that regardless of how much preparation work went into it, because of the severity of the storm, it really affected a lot of these houses. So if you guys can see here, if you look up on the eaves as well as like along the fascia of the house, you can see just how much of it was ripped off. Now, if you actually scroll down, you see some of the shutters as well as the windows themselves, they've just been pulverized. And what is happening with a lot of these storms, with the tornadoes that come through here, that's really where a lot of this damage has come from. Now, if you're on the west coast of Florida, you probably saw a lot more flooding, you probably saw a lot more electricity and down power lines. Over here on the east coast of Florida, what we experienced specifically in pockets of neighborhoods as well as some streets, you had a lot of the tornadoes that came through that caused a lot of the damage. Now, something that's going to happen over the next couple days, you're going to see all kinds of crews working. You could actually see over on this side, they got some roof crews out here, and then they ended up tagging like a lot of the garages as you go around. So what I think ended up happening is they probably told these homeowners, hey, you cannot stay in these houses because it's just a bit of a hazard. So we're going to see if we can get some of the neighbors to talk to them and find out some of their experiences of what happened. Okay guys, we actually got some of the neighbors here. We want to interview them, ask them some questions about what's happened to their houses, as well as explain of what they've heard about the tornado itself. What's your name, man?
Sean.
Sean, what have you heard about the tornado? What has it done to your property?
It hit a little after 5 last night. We got the alert a couple minutes before. A lot of it, like I popped out of my house, saw it basically in the distance, probably 500 yards out. A bunch of people took shelter, and then it hit. Sounded like, it was like being in the movies, like Twister, freight train coming through, you heard things banging.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like the house was going to get lifted.
So you said you had a lot of sounds that went with it. What is the sound of the tornado? What is the sound of it?
It sounds like when you hear the freight train, like a freight train coming through, like right next to you, and then you just start hearing things moving and things hitting. So we were hiding underneath our staircase inside, and then we just started hearing things slamming, heard like windows get hit, cars get hit, and then it passed real quick. It's like as fast as it came on us, it was gone probably in 45 seconds.
Really? Okay, so when you guys started hearing him, is that when you immediately took shelter? Where did you go in your house? You said under the stairs, was that the safest?
Once I walked outside and looked west and saw the tornado coming directly at us, and you could see the debris field, and I knew it was a tornado. I ran inside, got my kids, got my wife, went underneath, started trying to text people in the neighborhood to make sure they were sheltering, and then about right when we were in there, it started hitting.
That's crazy. Okay, so by the time the tornado came through, the moment you saw it, did you thought to yourself, hey, we got enough time, let's at least get under the stairs? Is that like the safest place in your house?
Yeah, we kind of prepared for that. We knew if you ever get bad weather, just go in there. We thought it was the safest in the center of the house, whether it is or not. That's where they sheltered here. And they survived, and they're the worst hit. So
this neighbor here in particular, you guys can actually see it in the channel. Like, they were probably one of the worst homes hit, and we'll actually show you a shot from the inside to see just how bad it is as well. But just to ask some questions in regards to this neighbor, when you heard from them, did they say that they stayed here the entire time, or like during
they were inside underneath the stairs? I mean, probably right after the tornado moved to the next development, I ran out like 7, 8 houses down, and I saw their back roof tore off. And as I was coming up, saw all the windows, so I was like, somebody could be trapped inside. Luckily, like as I got to the driveway, they had come out, other neighbors had come out, and then we kind of started getting a check. People seemed to all be alive, no one trapped, which was fortunate.
Yeah.
So, but it went right through their house.
No kidding.
Moved walls, blew out all their windows. It's pretty devastating.
Wow, that's crazy. Man, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Like, we're also going to find out from the neighbor too as well to see exactly what happened with him in his house.
I think the biggest lesson is, like, if you get a tornado alert, like whoever sends them, the emergency services, it means it. Like the alert hit probably less than a minute. I looked outside, it was probably 500 yards away, and it was barreling down. So you got to react quick and get to safe cover because it closed quick.
Wow. Well, man, like, thank God everything is okay with your family. You said your house had minimal damage to it, which is lucky, but it also goes to show you, like, when the neighbors have issues like this, it's nice to see other neighbors come out to show some help in however they can. So thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Absolutely, buddy. Do you guys have time to even react to it?
Yeah, we have about 20 minutes.
Did you think for a second, hey, we need to get out of here, or what were you thinking? Like, let's hunker down?
You can't run because you don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, gotcha.
And if you run, you might be going into the path of it.
Gotcha.
You don't know how big it is. You don't know how fast it's going.
Yeah.
But we heard it was in Wellington, and then heard it was in Royal Palm, and then Lochahatchee. That means it's coming towards us.
Gotcha.
And then the radio said, hey, Avenir, it's coming y'all way.
Yeah, watch out.
We knew
Yeah.
it. So we knew it. The alarms went off about 4:45, 4:50. And then it hit us about 5:08.
Goodness.
So we had plenty of time.
Yeah.
So,
But what was the, I mean, I know it's terrifying. Like, what was the emotional experience like? How was it? Did you guys hunker together? Did you go into like a safe spot in your house?
These things before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. So
are you guys from the Midwest?
From Midwest. So we kind of know.
And check it out. I got that on the Mizzou shirt. I
So
see it.
we
Yeah.
kind of know, and so
Yeah.
I had everything planned for where we were gonna be at for our escape route. So
Yeah.
I had everything ready to go.
That goes to show you like the level of preparedness when you have it in experience. Because I mean, I think anyone who's looking at this house this is terrifying, you know? So to be able to at least have some knowledge on what to do in a situation like that, I know is beneficial to you guys.
So
Yeah.
But it's all about the awareness.
Yeah.
You know, and act. You know, if you know what you're doing, act on it, and then get to your spots.
Gotcha. Now, I noticed that some of the houses are like tagged. They got X's on them. Is that the city coming through? Is that the sheriff's office coming through? Who's like tagging the houses to let them?
The city government, I think it is. I wasn't here when they tagged it, but I got a phone call.
Okay.
So
now, because I'm sure you have hurricane insurance or wind insurance coverage. Have anyone reached out to you? Have you been able to talk to anybody as far as being able
to? Insurance.
Okay. Did they say they'll be able to help you guys out or cover the damages?
Yes, sir.
Thank God. Thank God. Now, what happens with vehicles in situations like this?
Well, my brother-in-law is a insurance
adjuster?
owner. He owns insurance, so he told us that the insurance, you got to go through your auto insurance for the auto. We didn't know that.
Interesting. Even though it's inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife is on the phone now with the insurance. So we're gonna take the 2 cars tomorrow to the body shop.
Man, your demeanor is incredibly calm, like all things considered. And I know you said you have experience in this. Are you a military man?
I'm retired police.
It all makes sense. Like it goes to show you guys, like you can see it in the demeanor of some of these people, like the resiliency you have and just the overall.
What the old word is,
Yeah.
smooth is fast and fast is smooth.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I mean, of course, you wouldn't wish this on anybody, but it's good to hear the level of preparedness that you had and also the demeanor that you're carrying with it, because I would think most people are just going to be absolutely devastated. So, yeah.
So, that's what it is. You just got to have your plans and your actions, and you got to push through it and go.
Yeah.
And it happens. I've been in that closet a couple of times before.
Have you had damage to this extent before? To like any? No,
Never.
This was the worst.
This is the worst period.
And in South Florida, of all places, where tornadoes are non-existent, So,
but it's the community helped out. The people here was great. It makes it feel a little bit easier. Real quick, before we bought this house, I lived in a hotel for 6 months. So I'll be living in a hotel another 6 months.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. But I was gonna say,
what happens is when you have a situation when the houses are being extended a month to 2 months, you have to stay where you're at. So we was in a hotel before we built the house for about 6 months. So we'll probably be in a house again for another probably 4 to 6 months. This is our house. This is our home. No matter what, this is our land.
Yeah. Man, I love the resiliency. I absolutely love it. It's so heartwarming to hear. You
got to do that for your family. If they see the weakness and the vulnerability, they're gonna be like, well, our dad, everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
If you're not freaking out, they're not gonna freak out.
Yeah. That's a great point. Man, head of the household here, it's nice to see just exactly what the community's done. You could actually see some of the community behind it, like how many people are around here. I mean, it's beautiful to see,
We all come from different places, walk of life, and we all think the same way.
Yeah.
I'll be there with them. If their house was torn down, I'll be right there with them. So, but it makes a lot easier when you have a community that say, listen, Kevin, put on my shoulder too. We got you.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier.
Man, I appreciate you so much, man. And I'm excited to see what happened, but
hey, you know what happens.
Yeah.
Be safe. See the funny thing about this house?
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is the first house in the community.
No, this is like the
number
first
one. We was in here by ourselves.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'll tell my
yeah.
wife and my daughter this morning, a year ago, this house would not have been here because the storm would have came straight through here with nothing.
Wow.
This is house number 1 of all these homes.
So you saw, I was gonna say, you saw this develop like as it came through. Right here?
We both got the 2 worst. 1, 2, and then Rich was 3, and then the guy in the white truck was 4, and that was it out here.
Wow. And then just over
They
time, you
just
saw that.
finished.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just finished the last house about 3 or 4 months ago, and they add these 2. Listen to this. I'm gonna show you something.
Yeah.
That house here just finished 2 months ago.
Oh my goodness, are you
That's
serious?
maybe 4 months ago.
And I swear, they look
This
like
home was the
apocalyptic
model.
houses. Yeah.
This home was the model when we first started.
Yeah.
That was the model. That was just land.
Man, that's devastating.
I'm number 1 in this unit. I'm
Yeah.
not going nowhere.
I love it. Again, the resiliency is profound.
That's it.
Profound. Okay, y'all, you guys had actually see from some of the damage you saw on some of those properties, they're absolutely immense. Now, what's gonna happen with insurance, what's gonna happen with FEMA, all these different organizations that come together to determine what kind of relief these people are gonna get is really unknown at this moment. But what's really great to see is the homeowner's demeanor, even though they've gone through something as devastating as it is, but also it's great to see the community come together to help out one another. We got a lot of light that's now been passed, so it's getting kind of dark. Tomorrow we're gonna come back, get some better shots, and give you guys some more updates in some other cities. Okay, y'all, we're back, day 2, just showing you guys some of the damage that's taking place. We've got a lot of houses that have gone through a lot of damage here. We're now in Fort Pierce. I'll give you an example of one of the houses right here. You can look up and you can see, basically their entire roof has been ripped off of the house. Now we're actually gonna give you guys a shot of what the house used to look like before right here. As you can see, it was once a really beautiful house at one point, and just because of these tornadoes, it has absolutely ravaged it. Now, if you look down the street here, you can actually see as well, we got debris on this side of the street. We have a number of houses that have been severely affected. And what's really crazy about these tornadoes, and it's just so specific, it's really different from what we've ever experienced here in Florida because we really don't get tornadoes, but because of these hurricanes and the severity of them, we're starting to see them more and more. So we're gonna show you guys some of what's going on throughout this area and see if we can interview some neighbors. We have some of the neighbors here actually that was directly affected by this. Can you say your name?
Lyndon Sharif.
Hey, man.
Jaquan.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Good, good, good. What's your name?
Jaquan.
Jaquan. Okay, can you guys tell me about like what was the experiences like? What happened when you heard it? Did you get a notification? What happened? Like, take me through the process.
Okay, so all afternoon we were getting a lot of notifications that hurricanes were in the area and take cover. So we made sure we stay downstairs by a safe area, which is the inner bathroom on the first floor. It doesn't have any windows out.
Okay.
So it was my wife, myself, and my mother-in-law. So I kept them close to it in the family room and kept checking the alerts and looking out the window.
Right,
So
right.
when we heard a noise, and I was already listening for it, so I came out of my office, which is right there, and I told my wife, get into the bathroom. And then I had to help my mother-in-law to get into the bathroom. By the time we stepped into, I had to carry her and get her in the bathroom and shut the door. Just as I was shutting the door, the windows just exploded in and glass went everywhere. And then I just stayed against the door until the house stopped shaking.
That's crazy. Okay, so from the moment you got the notification, what's the time frame from?
About 8 seconds.
8
Not
seconds?
the notifications. From the time I heard the noise, and my mother-in-law is elderly, so she couldn't move fast.
Yeah.
And she wasn't moving fast enough. So finally, when I saw the wind whipping up the way it was, and I saw things starting to fly outside the window, I basically had to grab her and get her into the bathroom.
Wow. Okay, so
They were coming in randomly. You know,
Okay.
But they were popping up all over from Palm Beach to Vero. So, you never really knew where it was exactly, and there were just warnings at that point. So,
got you. So you guys had already been seeing the effects of the tornado, hearing them before you even got the notifications initially.
No, we were.
Or you were getting throughout the day. You said you were
throughout
getting.
the day, but
Okay.
a lot of people will ignore them. But when you get them back to back like that, I think you should pay attention because people need to listen to that. And we were in Loxahatchee before here, so we've seen some of those impacts before.
Gotcha. Were you guys prepared? Like, do you have a place in mind? You're like, hey, I know we're gonna go here, or was it just like?
I told my wife earlier, if a tornado is coming, that bathroom is the central, safest spot.
You know, something that I've been realizing so far from neighbors, like the ones who had a lot of preparation behind it, they were actually the ones that were able to hunker down and stay someplace safe, which is great. But I think the biggest concern is because we don't get tornadoes in Florida for the most part. Like they're kind of unheard of outside of them happening through hurricanes. So it's good to hear that some people have some like preparation plans in place. So take me through. So you heard the noise, like you saw the windows explode, you got your family into the bathroom. Like what happened next? How fast did it go through there? What was
It was about
what happened?
Approximately, it was about 20 seconds of the house.
Okay, fast, yeah,
violently.
yeah.
And then once it stopped making noise, I waited a few more seconds, and then I opened the door and I saw my bedroom door at the bottom of the steps.
Okay, so you had no idea what level of damage. You just heard the wall shaking. You're just like, all right, I'll assess after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just hold that door shut so it doesn't get it into there.
Okay, and did you guys have any damage around you, like from where you guys came down?
When the window exploded or imploded in, and then my TV, my large screen TV fell over, and by then I just shut the door and said, nothing else matters. So you had some damage in there. Of course, we got glass all over the place. But fortunately, most of it seemed to have totally destroyed up there. And it moved fast enough that it wasn't able to pull everything out on the first floor.
Gotcha. It almost seems like it was just right. I mean, I know you have damage from some of your other neighbors here, but the severity looks like it's just like the two of you guys right here.
Yeah.
I mean, is it likely, again, I know you guys are meteorologists, that it comes down around top of you?
Come down and then bounce. So they may have caught they got damage here. And then going behind it, so
But
it
it
could
also
have.
seemed to have ripped through. You probably saw it a lot on the news channel, Spanish Lakes.
Yes.
Those deaths over there at the mobile park, and it's literally right across these trees. So it looked like from what we saw in the overview from the helicopter, it ripped through the trees here.
It's like a beeline, like straight down that way.
It's either going through. I don't know which way it was coming from, but did whatever it had to do.
Yeah, well, I thank God you guys are okay. I'm happy to hear that you guys are all safe. Did you have everyone get checked out? Like, did ambulance come by? Did police come by?
The police
what was the
came
story?
out, fire department came out, but everybody, all the neighbors were so great. They all came out, helped to make sure, and
Your truck, the windows got blown out.
my windows in the truck got blown out, so got debris and tree stuff all inside my truck.
Yeah.
Everybody just came together. It's a great neighborhood. They just come together and work together like that.
I think that's something that's been the biggest that we've seen so far is the community around has been the biggest support. You know, neighbors helping other, which is a great thing to see.
And this is a big veteran neighborhood as well.
Oh, okay.
It's a good amount of
Police
Marines
officers.
and
I'm
police
a Marine.
officers.
We have Marines and a lot of veterans out here in this neighborhood.
Okay. Now, what's the next steps? Have you contacted insurance? Have they said they're going to come out? I know you said FEMA before. It's been.
I can't get through to FEMA. When I went to their site immediately afterwards, and the connect to it had Helene and every other one, but it didn't have Milton on there. It says if it's not there, then it's not ready to allow personal assistance. So,
okay.
But I did get in contact with my insurance company. So.
Okay, so something I had mentioned before we went on camera here is that my AC guy, he does live in Port St. Lucie, and he was able to get in contact with FEMA and have them come out to his property. So I'm gonna try to get that information so I could share that with you. So yeah, whatever we can use too. So
we are also trying to get some donations and so on with GoFundMe.
Yes, please. Yes, absolutely. Yes, fine. We'll add it to the description so you guys can all find it and get a link directly
right now
to the
it's,
GoFundMe.
Reaching out. We've had some success. Family, friends from across the nation, really. From California to Jersey. So it's we've seen the house randomly on other news stations, on CNN, and they don't even know that we're here. But they have the photo. They know what's going on. So
All the people have responded.
yeah, it's been really good.
Just the comments.
Gotcha. Like in terms of the support for you guys been getting.
Some people say, "Oh, why didn't they put shutters up?" Shutters would not have stopped.
There's right here. Like you guys can see example. There's a house with shutters on it, and look at the roof. Like
it would not have stopped.
Yeah, you can't stop the tornadoes.
The third house out of the 3 little pigs, and the brick still didn't withstand. So it wouldn't have mattered.
And what's weird is that I have a 100-year oak tree over there. It got ripped apart, but the swing I put on it for my wife is still there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Great meeting you. Okay, guys, we got permissions from the owner themselves, so now we're going to take a look. We're going to walk through the property and show you what the upstairs looks like.
All right, so from a damage point, obviously walking up the steps, you can see across the whole top, the whole roof is gone. Right. This was one of the hardest hitting sides Obviously, the support for the wall over here is gone. You know, strong wood bed set broken. Over here, you can't see it. There's a whole closet in there. All of my parents' clothes. You know, everything is safe. Everything is in here. So this is something that we're gonna have to actually go through later on. We want to kind of get everything out from downstairs in case anything did happen. We can say, okay, at least we got everything downstairs gone. We did find that right below here is the living room, and there was no leaking, no damage, no anything. So here actually is a good spot for us to be able to start digging, go through, and hopefully it's safe. Obviously, as time goes by with the rain and anything else, it might not be. So we're gonna start that soon. But as you can see, this is the most open up space here.
Are there things that you guys are going through now to try to figure out what you can salvage, or are you just gonna think,
yes,
like,
so downstairs, that's what we started with. Downstairs in the living room, almost got all of that out, but not everything. Pretty much all the electronics in the family room. My dad's big screen TV, his DJ set, you know, all of that gone. But my dad is really big on memories. So he creates them and he holds on to them. So he has VHS tapes of us when we were younger. He has comic books. He has all these different things that you can't replace.
Right.
You know? So we are looking to go get some of those things out. We've got some of it already. But everything else, honestly, I'm just glad they're safe.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, man. But
They didn't have to be here. So in here is not much, it's just a linen closet. But here, again, over here is a little less safe. We know there's leaking downstairs, so I don't want to go too far. Can't really get too far here, but this is the bathroom, upstairs bathroom. Double sink and tub and shower. But as you can see, can't go too far in there.
No.
I don't want to put too much pressure.
Yeah.
But no roof there as well. And then here, this is the 2 bedrooms. This one, we were able to open it. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, it's window blown out. Roof is gone as well. Bed sets, everything destroyed. This door we can't even open, but from the outside you can see that there's no wall, no ceilings over here. You can actually see the dresser set from outside.
Oh, yes.
So that's another bedroom there.
So you guys saw directly from the homeowners, you saw from the family members, you even saw a number of those items that they're trying to save, right? They're trying to keep some of those memories and hold on to and just salvage whatever they can so they can move on, and also save some of that so they can take it to their new house. Something that I love seeing, and it doesn't matter what neighborhood we go to, what person we speak to, it's all about community. And you're seeing how all of it is happening right now. Look, you have people out here right now helping out, trying to help them just salvage whatever they can, break up the wood, cut up the trees, just so that when the dumpster comes, when the city comes, they can all pick it up really easily. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna show you guys some of the other houses. Actually, let's take like a quick peek here. You look, you can actually see not every house has the same level of damage. So to say that those tornadoes come and just devastate an entire area is inaccurate. We actually want to show you, which is what's really terrifying about it, is that no matter how much preparedness you have, you could be on one side of the street, be perfectly safe, and the other side have complete damage. Now, there is a lot of flying debris that was in the air that started landing all over the lots. That's actually what's being cleaned up right now. There's neighbors up and down the entire street all taking care of it. But what we are gonna do, we're gonna see if we can pass by a mobile home park which had some of the deaths, which is incredibly unfortunate, and show you just how much they've been going through over the last couple days. If we can't get through those, we're actually gonna cut through and we're gonna do another city in Port St. Lucie, and we're gonna show you what some of those neighbors are having to deal with. So stay tuned, we're gonna show you what that looks like right now. So we had had a moment to speak with one of the homeowners here in the mobile home park. Absolutely devastating, as you guys can see from some of the footage. They did tell me that they spoke with the community president and they didn't want to do any interviews, so we had to make sure we honored their wishes. But we were allowed to at least take some footage of the outside, so we showed you guys just how much devastation was caused specifically by these tornadoes. Now, something that they did tell me was that each one of the mobile home owners owns a portion of the entire lot. So any outside funding or any way in which we would be able to contribute from the outside isn't accepted at this moment. Everything is going to be done internally through their own community. Now, another thing that was really important about this specific mobile home park is this is one that had the most deaths so far because of Hurricane Milton. Now, something that I did want to mention about it as well is that even though the most deaths came on the East Coast, the West Coast, where we had the direct hit of the hurricane, didn't have as much severity in terms of deaths, but they did have just as much destruction because of flooding. So we're actually going to cut through. We're going to show you guys another city that we're going through in Port St. Lucie and show you exactly what it looks like over there. Okay, everyone, unfortunately we weren't able to show you guys Port St. Lucie, but I do think you guys can find a lot of those links, social media, throughout Instagram, YouTube, you'll see some of it. The main issue that we had was that a lot of these areas that were affected are private, so between the guard gate, police, and the tape blocking it off, it was really difficult to get in there, talk to the neighbors, or even show you some of the effects of what happened from the hurricane. Now, if you guys are looking to support some of the people that you saw in some of the videos that you saw today, or even just collectively, we put some links down in the description, GoFundMe pages, link directly to them so you can support them. If you have $1, if you've got 10, if you have whatever you can put in, it's gonna contribute and it's gonna go a long way. Now, outside of that, if you guys are looking for more information in regards to how you can contribute, there's pages online through FEMA, through all kinds of local Red Cross that you could also support too as well. I think if nothing else, one thing that I was really surprised and excited to see about from it is just how the community came together in this episode, especially in a time where we're going through a lot of turmoil. It's really great to see somebody helping out their fellow man. So until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video.